And it is. It's 9:01 a.m. U.S. Pacific daylight time here in Los Angeles. And it is, man, this is loud. It is Tuesday, the 30th of July, AD 2024. We're going to have a fun, hopefully a fun, loosey-goosey, The Hake Report show, everybody. TheHakeReport.com. And we will talk about, I don't know, maybe I'll talk a little bit about this Elon Musk thing, is whatever you call it, his adult offspring. You're not supposed to call him a son. I don't know. What a mess. JD Vance is talking about the childless cat ladies, and he's been talking about it for years, ever since even before he knew that he liked Trump. What a mess. Nice. I call it a mess because they're acting like it's this bad thing. And it's dumb. It's a fair point. You know what I mean? So, anyway, we'll talk about that maybe, hopefully. The women and Biden and stuff like that. Projection. These women who hate Trump and hate men think that the men are hating the women. And some of them are. But they are hating the men, and they don't realize it, apparently. And I may also talk about that Bible passage that I read on the JLP show about, because it was on my mind after church with J.C. Lee Peterson, 1 Corinthians 7, 30-ish, 32, 35, about worldly concerns versus godly concerns. Kind of interesting. Something to watch out for, definitely. So hopefully all that and your calls, guys, if you'd like to call in. Some of you already on hold. You wanted to talk about that Sonya Massey gal who got herself shot. I say she got herself shot. And many of you say that the cop overreacted. Some of you guys even say the cop was racist. Give me a break. But anyway, guys, let's get right on with the show.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
Hey, guys!
Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
So, how you guys doing? Thank you, Nick, the Anchor Baby. Catch Anchor Baby at 4 p.m. Pacific time. 6 Central, 7 Eastern. Joel Friday is coming up right after Hake. But Nick is not coming on at noon. He's coming on at 4. Catch it. It's going to be, whoa. I have a nice shirt on, huh? It's okay. It's all right. Good point, Hake. Thank you, Megan. Thank you. A lot of you guys have been talking about this Sonya Massey gal. You've been saying cops are going out of control, and this is an example of it. Normally blacks are at fault, but this time the cop was at fault. You can only fairly say, I say, that they were both at fault if you want to blame the cop. And you may be fair in blaming the cop. I'm not sure. They say that he was sort of a hothead, a DUI getting type of a cop, jumping around from place to place. Maybe this will slow him down. Chin up, King, sitting in your jail cell or wherever you are, charged with murder. Ridiculous, in my opinion. Maybe. But I don't know. Let me get to a call about this, guys. You can call in on this or whatever you'd like to talk about. 1-888-775-3773. William is on the line out of California. William, thank you for calling and holding there. What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm doing just fine. How about you, James?
Doing fine as well. Thank you.
Now, before I do my White History Month tribute, I want to go into this thing because I just talked to you Thursday. We were talking about the election and all of the gaslighting that the left is doing. Didn't I just tell you they were looking for something to either riot over or blame the white man? Didn't I just tell you that Thursday?
They're always trying to do that.
Well, you're getting closer to the election.
Yep.
Now, here's the deal. Donald won 2016 with 4% of the black vote.
2016, he got 4% of the black vote. Trump won? In 2016, obviously. 4%.
Right.
Okay.
Something around there. All right. He's got like between 19 and 22 right now.
Ah.
So the gaslighting has begun.
Nice.
The young lady, was it Illinois?
Yeah. Springfield area, Illinois. This young lady who got her... I say she got herself shot. Is it unfair for me to say that?
It's not unfair at all.
Yeah.
I wish you asked some of the questions to me that you asked John, because you got sucked in Friday in your show. I wanted to see Big Bumpy, and we didn't even get into the subject or nothing like that.
Oh, yeah, I did get sucked in because George Zimmerman, the insanity of the George Zimmerman thing, for some reason, the insane things that people accept and believe, which are just lies,
right?
Just in their imagination about George Zimmerman. Just like the mainstream media was in their imagination about George Zimmerman.
Yes, you're correct.
It gets to me. Shame on me.
Well, I have a situation where I live here in the Valley. We have, remember the George Zimmerman and all these riots, Michael Brown, all that stuff defunding the police. My subdevelopment, well, my HOA, we have private police. I knew they were going to do that. I said, watch and see. The good neighborhoods are going to get their own police. We have armed private police.
Okay.
John in Kentucky, you are wrong. If you have a neighborhood watch, excuse me, there's a neighborhood watch, and you are a homeowner in that area, yes, they can follow you.
Right. And then the cops didn't say... the cops or the 911 dispatcher, which may or may not have even been a cop, said, "Are you following him right now?" Yes.
Yeah, we know
okay,
all about that.
We don't need you to do that.
Yeah,
and
we know all about that too.
And he said, "Okay."
Yeah. Right.
Yep.
Now, not only can they follow you, they can ask you, "What are you doing in here?" If it's really private.
Yep.
That's what you pay for.
There had been break-ins in the area. Burglaries.
There it is.
Yep.
Here's the deal. Police, part of their job is to profile.
Right.
So,
profile criminals.
John, speaking about being stopped and harassed, no, you want them to make them look like they're harassing you.
Yeah.
It's like the thing with the young lady in the boiling water. You want that to be a white-black thing.
Right.
And that woman getting shot had nothing to do with a white-black thing.
Yep.
She just got shot and killed.
Yeah.
How about that?
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
Yep.
Now, do you or did you really look from start to finish? Let's start from the beginning. She called the police.
Yeah.
She's got a automobile on the side of her house that is not hers. Let's think about this. How long did it take for this woman to come to the door? That's suspicious. You get a call from her? Yeah, you get a call from her. She doesn't answer the door for like 5-10 minutes.
Oh, I thought that the door... Somebody said... I haven't even watched this video thing. I just know that... I watched the key part.
Well, I tell you what. You watch the key part. You know what? It took the longest for that woman to come out.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, if I call the police right here, and it took... They know where the call's coming from, especially if you have a landline. They know where the call's coming from.
Yeah.
And they appear at your door at that time of night. She took the longest to come out.
Yep. Ah, really?
That's grounds for any officer to get suspicious. They they got the flashlights going. They ask her about the vehicle on the side of the house. She doesn't know whose it is. They go around the back. They tell her there's nothing there. She's acting really weird. Now let's think about this. She took the longest to come to the door. Her excuse was, I was asleep. You were asleep. Weren't you the one that called us?
Huh.
So then, if you go in the house, but I think they just escorted her in the house because she claimed she okay. So now let's think about this. How asleep are you with a hot pot of water on the stove?
Huh.
And then I rebuke you in the name of the Lord.
Right.
Don't you think that's a little weird?
Yeah. It is weird. Even CNN was like, the body cam footage that was released seems to indicate she may have been going through mental health issues.
Right. Now, I'm not making excuses for the officer. I just asked you, don't you think that's a little weird? You take that long to come to the door?
Took her over 8 minutes, according to GMD Jim, to come through the door, to the door.
She finally comes to the door, looking like a bat out of hell, acting weird as hell. And her excuse was, I was asleep. Well, how asleep are you with a hot pot of boiling water on the stove?
Maybe that was the 8 minutes. They knocked on the door. She's like, "Oh, let me put on a pot of water."
Okay.
How do you know where are you getting your information?
I've seen the video, just seen the footage. Okay,
it's from the video?
Hot. Yeah, I've seen the video from start to finish. Hot is hot, no matter what. But there's nothing like that type of hot that gets to the boiling point as quick as an electric stove. Now, do you know the bodily harm that can come to you with hot water thrown on you?
It doesn't even have to be boiling before, according to a Google search that I did, for it to do some damage enough that you need to get, what is that stuff called? Surgery. That
stuff is dangerous.
Yeah.
That's a pot of hot water is a lethal weapon.
Yep. Well, it's no joke, definitely.
It's no joke at all. And he didn't take it as a joke.
Right.
Now, did he overreact? Maybe so. But, John, don't you think you want police to harassing you? That's what it sounds like. Because I will never get stopped by police. And if I did, I wouldn't take it as they're harassing me.
Yeah.
I'm talking about your Hebrew Israelite, because believe me, you're not a Hebrew and you're not an Israelite. But you got that kind of thinking, which drove you to go to that kind of weak stuff. Yeah, some of them are okay, all of that. You like to say that. I don't buy it. I don't buy it.
Oh, come on.
I'd like to hear Mark's opinion about this case, because he's always brutally honest. And I mean, let's think about this hot water. Let's think about some hot water. I don't know if she's going to throw it. Not her. I don't know. Is it fair to say I don't know?
Definitely. That's the only fair thing to say, really.
Is it fair to say I do not know what her intentions were? Is it fair to say that you don't, I don't, John definitely don't, because he's only looking at it for one way, racism.
I don't know. I don't remember John saying whether it was racist or not. I just remember David and Ocala called him racist, which was surprising to me.
Yeah, it was surprising to me too, but David's all right with me. But I can just tell you this, hot water and getting shot ain't got nothing to do with racism. Black people need to stop all that gaslighting.
Yeah.
Police officers' jobs are to profile you. Now, maybe, like you said yesterday to the gentleman, are you looking to be, I mean, look, that's part of their job is to profile. Maybe you might want to think about all the crime that your brothers and sisters are committing.
Yeah.
And isn't
I know.
part of a police officer's job is to profile?
It's to assess the situation, for sure.
All right.
Yeah, it's a mess.
Didn't I tell you Thursday they were looking for something? Some kind of.
We'll see what happens. Of course, I mean they're going to use everything. They use all they can. So
they do it all the time. They do it every election. Yeah. How about my happy White History Month?
Thank you, sir.
And I'd like to give my tribute. Is that okay?
Yes, please, let's hear it. Your White History
Chester.
Month contribution.
White History Month. Chester William Nimitz. Born in 1886 in Fredericksburg, Texas. That's Admiral Nimitz. Died in San Francisco, 1966, at the age of 80.
Pacific Fleet, World War II?
Right.
World War II naval
Mm-hmm.
commander-in-chief of the Navy or something like that, or the U.S. Pacific Fleet. Okay.
Right. He's over there. His body is over there. I put my father in the same place. That's the Golden Gate Cemetery, San Bruno, California, for the veterans.
Nice.
Yeah. He is, what was the, let me see the list. The Philippine-American War, World War I, World War II, Battle of the Coral Sea, Battle of Midway, Solomon Islands campaign, Battle of the Philippine Sea, Battle of Leyte Gulf, Battle of Iwo Jima, Battle of Okinawa.
Wow, that's a busy man. Let's see here. What's his name? Chester Nimitz. I'm showing him on the screen here.
Chester William Nimitz.
Hey, your namesake.
They named the freeway over there in Oakland, 880. The Nimitz Freeway. He died at Treasure Island on the base.
What a Chad. Born in 1885. That's
wild.
He
had pneumonia, complications from pneumonia, and I think they took him back over from the Alameda base and floated over to the island where his home was on the naval base over there, Treasure Island.
Right on.
He passed away with complications of pneumonia and a stroke. And Admiral Nimitz was a great man and happy White History Month. I'd like to see what Mark says about Mr. Nimitz. He probably knows a lot more about him than I do, but just
nice.
wishing everybody happy White History Month, and
very kind.
Everybody should get out of their emotions about certain things. Nothing we can do about the young lady. It's a shame that she died and everything, but I would not personally. My personal would not try to use her life to gaslight a certain situation, which is that black-white stuff,
Yeah.
I personally just wouldn't do it.
Fair enough, man. Thank you, William. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right. Take care. Bye. So people are asking, how do you know that she got herself shot? She called the police. She was acting crazy, according even to CNN, such that CNN was questioning her mental health. And we saw her in the video put down the pot and pick it up again. That, in my mind, is her getting herself shot. Is that unfair? It might be unfair. But that seems like she got herself shot. Was he wrong too? He might have been wrong too. He might have been too jumpy. There's a guy in Tulsa, Oklahoma, during the 2016 run for president. I remember Trump talked about this woman, this white woman who became a cop and shot this black man who was standing with his hands up, and then he was like walking towards the driver's side window of a vehicle, and he, I think the window was up or the window was down, not sure, but she shot him. And Trump is like, maybe she choked. She choked. But I would argue that he got himself shot too by not really complying properly, So I don't want to be outrageous, make you guys outraged. A lot of blacks get outraged, and black-hearted, evil individuals get outraged. You heard my one of my stalkers call in. Never mind. I'm not trying to be provocative. Provocative of you checking your assumptions, maybe. And you guys provoke me to ponder things, to be more fair-minded. But not trying to provoke an outrage, because that's mess. You know what I mean, Jelly Bean? Anyway, that's my take on that. I was going to try to show you guys the videos that Spoiler Alert had shared with me again because I'd shown one of them to you guys last week, but those videos are taken down right now. But thank you, shout out to Spoiler Alert. You can check the Thursday show. I forget what day that was. When I talked with that young man from, I forget where. But anyway, it was last week. I'll probably post the clip this week. So check out the Hake Report on YouTube and BitChute and Rumble. I'll upload them to YouTube and Rumble, and BitChute kind of auto-uploads. Shout out to BitChute. It's cool. Oh, I have to read some super chats before I get back to calls. Taking Care of Business asks, Hake, do you play piano? Because Charlie Sheen did. What? Shout out to Charlie Sheen. Oh, am I dressed like Charlie Sheen? Why, thank you. Why, thank you. What a Chad. Hake lives in Malibu with Charlie Sheen. I went to the same doctor as Charlie Sheen once. Oh, thank you, spoiler alert. He reshares the video. Does this WebM not work for you? This one does for me. I'll check it. But yeah, no, I don't know what's prompting him to ask this. Maybe because of the way I'm dressed in this. This is Santa Monica in the background here, taking care of business. And maybe that my shirt is sort of a Charlie Sheen-esque shirt. Charlie Sheen is Mexican. Did you know that? He has really like a Mexican name. His brother is Emilio Estevez, and his father is Martin Sheen, but it's not really that name. So they're white Hispanics. And you can kind of see it in Charlie Sheen's face. He kind of looks like one of my former guests, who's also part Mexican. Hake is hashtag winning with that HIV. I don't have HIV, but Charlie Sheen had something like that. It was reported. You got the joke, Hake, all I ask. Nice. Oh, yeah, and I have a stalker, just like Charlie Sheen in that 2.5 Men TV show had a stalker. I disavow that TV show, but it is, parts of it are amusing. It's like sort of reality. He says, why me? And then the woman stalker, but I don't necessarily have a woman stalker. Hopefully yet. Don't dox your HIV status. Says, you need to, I don't know. She said something funny. But she was a friendly, harmless stalker. Rose, I guess is her name. Well, yeah, we wish Charlie Sheen well. Some more super chats, guys. Thank you. Taking care of business. Over on Rumble, shout out to It's Me, Xenia, a regular monthly supporter. You can support Hake, you can support Anchor Baby, you can support Jesse Lee Peterson on a monthly basis. It's called subscribing. Well, while we're live, you click the subscribe button and it does $5 a month. That's kind of cool, huh? Shout out to the DLive crew. Dijon Paul yesterday with a diamond said, oh yeah, no, he said, oh, I've been rebuked 10 times today. Let's see. I've been rebuked 10 times today, meaning yesterday. It's not a big deal. Yeah, so that cop who was rebuked in the name of Jesus, was it jokingly or unjokingly? I don't know, but it was off. He said it's not a big deal. And that cop may have been, who knows, hot-headed, possibly, don't know. I'm giving you guys credence before I even know anything. Maybe I shouldn't even be acknowledging the cop may have been hot-headed. Because you guys are over-eager, like little communists, who are like all the other human nature evil people, to just push your point before you even really know the truth, you know? Anyway, thank you, Dijon Powell, who's been rebuked 10 times yesterday, and he says it's not a big deal. Base America First with a couple of coffees. The U.S. Constitution outlines 4 responsibilities of the federal government: defense, money, trade, and mail. Did you know that the feds are in charge of mail? I wonder if that was wise. Let's see. I'm just going to see if it's worth showing this. Because I'm like, hey, you guys want to read along with my coffees. I screenshot them. So check this out from Base America First, 2 coffees. They're super chats, guys. The U.S. Constitution outlines 4 responsibilities of the federal government: defense, money, trade, and mail. Elected officials no longer represent voters because bureaucracies established from the 1930s, communism, / fascism, maybe. Not the good. I don't know if there is a good kind. I disavow that. Almost flipped and said not the good kind. I'm not even that. I'm just traumatized / influenced by you evil people. You evil fascists. I disavow fascists. Even though Joe the Snake calls me a fascist, I call him a commie. What a mess. What are we, in the 30s? Bureaucracies established from the 30s through the current day maintain entrenched ideologues for 40 to 60 years. Most, if not all, government agencies, says Base America First, and programs are mama spirit that waste productivity and worsen every situation. Isn't that true? That's just a fact. Where was I? Who can name every federal agency, their purpose, and the programs they manage, he asks. Great question. Great question. Coffee wars between Base America First and Popcorn Thump Keg. How about it? Coffee wars is in they buy coffees, and one is for white conservatism and the other one is for black liberalism. Pardon me if I'm butchering your guys' stances and stuff. Base America First and you Popcorn Thump Keg. If government programs solved problems, there would be no need for government programs. Indeed, there wouldn't. Fair point. Remember that California law that went into effect in April, raising the state minimum wage to $20 an hour and eliminated businesses along with, I'll get rid of me for a second. I'll put me back on. Isn't that fun? I'm learning stuff. I'm not such a boomer after all. Raised minimum wage to $20 an hour and eliminated businesses along with tens of thousands of jobs. Surprise, surprise! That law contains weasel words. Weasel words. The California Food Council of Gruesomes, that's Gavin Newsom's, hand-picked cronies, is voting to raise the state minimum wage to $20.70 per hour. Minimum wage makes cheap labor illegal and everything more expensive. Nice. Hake's Hake is somewhat of a boomer. Let's see here. Get my mouse over here. Where's my cursor? What's the term for the public, aka the state, controlling the means of production? I call that socialism. It rhymes with mommunism. Oh, communism. Change my mind. Says, hey, I fit underneath that. Cool. Change Base America First's mind. Thank you, Base America First. Indeed. Right on. So let me zoom all the way out and see if I can go to the next one. There's DJ Alan Paul. And I think I can trust Popcorn Thump Keg not to cuss. He's never cussed on my stuff, so I'm fine with putting this stuff here. Here's, it's Coffee Wars, guys. Here's Popcorn Thump Keg saying, it's not really Coffee Wars. When I was in elementary school, thank you, Base America First, in the early 1990s, I vividly recall the Pledge of Allegiance played over the intercom every morning. Wow, it was played? You didn't have a class president say, everybody stand, put your right hand over your hearts, face the flag, ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. No, we didn't necessarily say amen. You may be seated. Wow, so it was played over the intercom? Embarrassing. We were told to stand up from our desks, put our hand over our hearts, face the flag that was hanging from the chalkboard. Wow, disrespectful, hanging from the chalkboard. And recite along as the pledge was being played. I take no issue with this, says Popcorn Stumpkeg. Based Popcorn Stumpkeg. He takes no issue with it, guys. There's a lot of talk from the right about brainwashing, but I seriously doubt any of the people using that term would be protesting or rallying if the Pledge of Allegiance was brought back into schools. My point is, so long as the person agrees with the agenda / subject matter / principles being presented, the term brainwashing or indoctrination don't get used. Indeed, that's a true statement. Popcorn Stumpkeg, you're one smart African-American. Playing around. I don't even know if he's American or black, and I don't use the term African-American. I think it's a he, and I think it's black, but it may be AI, and it may be a woman, and I do not dox regardless. It's only when they disagree with what's being promoted that those terms are used. Even you, Hake, have used the terms like injustice for Christ. Yeah, I did. I have used that term somewhat facetiously, but so let me guess. Brainwashing for Christ? Indeed. And you know what? There are even brainwashing of true things. Popcorn Stumpkeg. There are brainwashings of true things. JLP has talked about that too, as have atheists. Atheists have said, oh, parents are brainwashing their kids to believe in the Christianity or Islam or Judaism or whatever. And now some parents are brainwashing them into secularism and atheism and those and liberalism and those false religions, you know? Well, even teaching true things, factual things about good Christian values and things, those can be brainwashing and be a block because of knowledge. The Bible, what does the Bible say about knowledge? Among other things, it says, knowledge puffs up the pride, the ego, the selfish. Look at me, what I know. But love builds up. And love doesn't come from brainwashing. Knowledge can come from brainwashing. So you're brainwashed into thinking that you believe in God when you don't. And that's why Christians should listen intently sometimes to the atheists and check themselves. And listen intently to Jesse Lee Peterson and check themselves. And the Bible even says, test yourself to see whether ye be in the faith. Something like that. And that's true. So even brainwashing of right values. Look at all the different people who know that conservative values are right, or Trump is the man for the job, or Christianity's the right religion, or whatever. Which whom I agree with, but there's always some disagreement, or always some evil intention, or selfishness, or divisive nature, dividing the Christians from one another, and giving them their beliefs are nothing about Christ, or their lives are nothing about Christ. It's all just selfish vanity, phoniness. But yeah, even still, that stuff is it's probably better when men do it than when the women do it, because the women go overboard with their stuff. So I'm not sure we need these gals so on a mission. You know, these gals who become these teachers, Gen Zers, Gen Yers, and stuff. Gen Yer being millennial gals, becoming teachers. And they're on a mission to push Black Lives Matter lies, fake racism lies, LGBT lies, feminism lies on the kids. Nothing to do with the 3 R's, reading, writing, and arithmetic. Kids, arithmetic doesn't start with an R, but they call it, it's a joke. It's a joke. Did you know that arithmetic used to be called ciphers? Cipher, taught to cipher, meaning figuring, coding. One of my white history heroes, Sam Houston, made his slaves learn reading, writing, and ciphering. Ciphering. Like deciphering, figuring, arithmetic. Cool, huh? It's an old language. Kind of fun. Thank you, Popcorn Stump Cake. Yeah, you should indoctrinate your keep the indoctrination light. Keep it light. Not so heavy-handed like these gals are heavy-handed, you know? Very nice, Popcorn Stump Cake. Appreciate that. The lines are filling up. There is one line open. You can call in, guys. I got to get to Daniel in Texas, who's been on hold for a bit of time, and I wasn't able to get to him yesterday. I'll try to get to all you guys. What's up, Daniel? How you doing?
I'm well, James. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, definitely.
So many things to talk about. We got the shooting of the lady.
Yeah.
You know, and then
I like how you called her a lady. You're such a Southern gentleman. Are you Southern?
Yeah. Well, I mean, she was asking for it.
She was asking for it, he says. See?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you say that with some you sound like you regret to say that too. It's not like you're joyful about how she passed.
No, I'm saying that in a thoughtful kind of what's going on here, what's my initial kind of thoughts on, because I didn't see the full footage initially. When I saw what was kind of out there in the ether, it just looked like an angry guy.
Yeah.
But once you saw that she was basically tempting fate.
Yeah, it's not that she wanted to die. It's just that she was acting erratic, and in that sense, she brought it on herself. That's what you mean by asking for it.
Yeah, well, he told her. I mean, if somebody's telling you, they're pointing a weapon at you, and they're saying, "I'm going to do this." If
right,
then you're basically asking for it. I mean, anyway.
Yeah, I got you.
But I wanted to talk about white history and adventuring, because you go on your weekly walks to San Onofre. Yeah. And you see how close you can get to the wildlife pretty easily.
Yeah, right.
And I've never hunted, but I like the idea of hunting. And going out into nature and tracking.
I definitely respect it. You hear about Sean, our greatest producer, who is about to be surpassed by a black man, Derek. But Sean is our greatest producer on the Jesse Lee Peterson show, and he hunts. And Bambi, there was a hunter in Bambi, and that was awesome. It's kind of sad. And who's that other guy who Hassan and JLP's friend? Ted Nugent, also a hunter. There's something respectable and kind of cool about it. Yeah.
What I like is that each animal has its own instincts, right? So one of the big game in Africa is the Cape buffalo.
Yeah.
And they have very distinctive behaviors for what they do, as opposed to if you're hunting other big game like lion or elephant.
Yeah.
Like they have distinctive behaviors. And one of the reasons why Cape buffalo kind of piqued my interest was because of how you have to track them, because they'll be in the grasslands and then they'll climb up the forested mountains. And so you may see a herd in the grassland, but if you're trying to get the prized buck or bull, I mean, you have to get away from the herd, because they'll have separated from the herd.
Did you say Cape buffalo?
Yeah, Cape buffalo.
Okay, cool.
The older males will separate from the whole herd and live in isolation.
Yeah.
So, you kind of figure out where the herd is, and then you kind of have to figure out where the males are, and they'll go up and down these mountains for water sources. And it takes days, and they're very skittish.
Cape buffalo, are those the same as African buffalo?
Yes, that's the African
buffalo.
buffalo.
Wow.
they'll go up into the mountains, and you have to track them, through the forest, through the dense vegetation, and they I don't. It's to me, it's fascinating that you kind of have to really know the animal. Like, you have to know what the animal's thinking, what it would do. And another reason is that this particular animal, hunting it, doesn't do much to hurt the population.
Yeah. And are they in Africa specifically?
Cape buffalo are in Africa.
Okay, not in America.
No.
So we travel over there and put the smack down on those Cape buffalo.
Yeah, those Cape buffalo are really interesting to me because it makes you have to be physically fit because you're going up these mountains that are covered in vegetation.
Awesome.
Below the mountains, it's like arid grassland.
Yeah.
And the buffalo will migrate up and down the mountain.
Whoa.
So you're tracking this buffalo through arid grassland and then through humid jungle mountain forest.
That's cool.
And so, and it's a massive animal. It's like a ton. They weigh about a ton.
Papa.
And they're hidden. They're hidden in the vegetation. You really have, and they're very skittish. It's hard to get. It's hard to get within 100 yards of them. It's very hard to do that.
Wow.
So you have to be very quiet because a lot of animals.
You sound like Elmer Fudd. Be very, very quiet. Also
very
a hunter.
when you're hunting rabbit and Cape buffalo. Apparently.
That's funny.
I don't know, man. I just wanted to talk about that with you because I know that you go out to see the animals.
Yeah. Wow.
But,
yeah, I'm only seeing white men with these Cape buffalo. You don't see a whole lot of Africans, at least not in the Google images. They don't have cameras.
Well, I mean, the native Africans, they know how to track them.
Right. Yeah, I bet. And they don't.
So
it's just they get those every day, so it's nothing special to take a picture of for them.
Yeah.
No,
I think, and there's something to be said about hunting alone and hunting with others. You can bring trackers with you. Many people do.
Yeah.
Especially if you're going out on safari and you're only expecting to be there for less than a week.
Yeah.
You're gonna want a tracker because you don't have that much time to do it by yourself.
Oh, okay.
And also, being out in the wilderness by yourself is a danger too. You should really be familiar with the area, but there's something to be said about hunting alone. It's just you and the animal, and the patience that you bring with you.
Yeah.
Because imagine how frustrating it is to lose something you've been tracking for days. It happens. I mean, it happens quite frequently.
Wow. What a mess.
Yeah.
That's the, that kind of is a nice lesson too. When you lose something goes to waste, you work on some project and then all is lost or it never gets used. I wonder that time and the time that we spend and stuff we focus on feels so important, but it's not actually that important because look at how easily it's gone. Look how easily we're forgotten. None of this stuff really matters. It's like in the Bible it says all is vanity, and it really is. And yet it's kind of cool, and it can be appreciated sometimes. So.
Yeah.
Nice, man. Well, thank you for your White History Month contribution on adventure and hunting. That's cool. And the Cape buffalo. Shout out to Africa. See, Africa is part of white history.
Yeah.
Eat your heart out. Jealous people or envious or, I don't know, prideful people.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I just want to share. I know it's totally random, but
no, I like it.
throw it in the white history bin.
Thank you, man. It's
All
good
right,
to hear
bye.
from you. Appreciate it. All right.
You too.
Bye. First time caller Johnny in Arizona is on the line. Johnny, how you doing, man? What's up?
Well, Hake, thank you. How are you today, sir?
I'm doing well as well. Thank you, man.
Awesome. I've been listening to the calls, and I like what I hear. I don't know that I have much to talk about. I just wanted to talk about the shooting with the boiling water incident.
Cool, man. I'm happy to talk about that. I know that people get sick of it fast, but hey, it only has to be sickening if somebody's carried away with it. And as long as I don't get carried away with it, then I think it can be enlightening. So let's hear what you have to say about it.
Okay. One of the reasons I wanted to call in today is because last night or the night before, I saw a protest in downtown LA on Sunset, I believe, and
Oh, like a
they had
news report?
bunch of people.
Okay.
It was an actual live stream, and
Nice.
it got me angry. And I know Jesse says don't get angry and don't say you,
Yeah.
but I was angry. And
So you were,
people, they don't.
why were you
Go
angry?
ahead.
You were seeing people protesting the Sonya thing in downtown LA or Sunset Boulevard or somewhere?
Yes.
And that made you
Yes,
angry?
they were. Yes, because it was the same group of people who were protesting Black Lives Matter, who were protesting from the river to the sea. They were flying
Yeah.
their flags. It was like 5 different protests all rolled into one.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just a bunch of angry, young college kids in LA.
And isn't it
And,
interesting that their anger got into you?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And
I think that's
I
the
had
point of it.
That's right. You said that's so true, Hake.
Yeah.
And so I had to turn it off, and I did. And because I had to go back to watching the video and see, because everybody in chat had that wrong idea. It wasn't like this chat, which is more right-wing conservative. That chat was seriously leftist.
Oh, the
And
chat,
you
the
mentioned
chat on the
any-
live stream of this leftist protest.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. And if you said anything in defense of the cop, they said, you're crazy. And even this live streamer said, what are you talking about? You talking about with a cop shooting a woman in the face?
Yeah.
That's what's abominous about this. And it's like, okay, I can't watch this anymore.
Right.
But you can clearly see in the video, she jumps down. But when she took her hands off the pot, notice that her forward hand was on the handle, and the trailing hand was on the bottom of the pot.
Whoa.
It looked like she was going to throw it.
If her hand was on the bottom of the pot, she might have been burning her hand at that point.
No, she had pot holders.
Oh, yeah. True. That's right. I forgot about that. Yep.
So then he's an alpha male, you can tell. And when he saw
Alpha
that,
male
he drew his gun down.
Let me cut in and say alpha male in the worldly sense that he's like this pushy kind of guy. Not that he's like not necessarily what JLP would necessarily call an alpha male with no anger.
That is a good distinction to be made. You are correct there, Hake, because the cops, they have to be that way. They have to have control. They teach them that. They only want people like that who have control.
Yeah.
And he's the perfect instrument for that. And so him drawing down on her is exactly what you would think a cop would do. All of your previous callers have talked about that. It's like she was not asking for it. She was not respecting that it's a dangerous interaction with a cop.
Right.
And that's one of the key takeaways from all of these interactions. And that I'm not just saying the blacks. I'm talking about everybody. Everybody who gets shot in these videos they don't have that self-preservation tendency to recognize that this is a dangerous interaction.
Right. Yeah. And you know what? So commonly among Black Americans especially, or anybody on drugs or anybody who's just angry in the moment, angry out of their mind, they don't seem to have a lot of concern or caution for their own lives or for others' lives and bodily well-being. They don't, like there was this story that JLP presented a month maybe ago, of this older couple from New Zealand who were robbed, and the older woman was killed, run over by a car by this black guy who robbed her, tried to rob the couple. And I don't believe that the black guy intended to kill her. I think he just, at that point, didn't care. He just wanted to get away, and so he ran her over, and it killed her. It was a horrible killing, too. I know somebody who knew one of the cops who was on the scene, and the cop I think he might have thrown up because he'd never seen a body that mangled like that. So my point is that so often blacks, especially lately, don't have that regard for their fellow human beings. They're just reckless, you know? And she seemed like she might have been reckless in that moment.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Caught up in feelings and emotions.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, so often you hear these black American men, I use the term men loosely, they're like, I don't want to go to jail. And you see them getting themselves killed or putting their children in danger. There was one story of a black who had his baby's mother pick him up. He carjacked her with the girlfriend and his baby, in the car and led the police on a wild chase through LA, just maybe the beginning of this month or so. And
I watched that on live stream, yes.
Yeah. And he's saying, I don't want to go back to jail. They're going to shoot me. I don't want to go back to jail. And so often you hear them not wanting to go back to jail. Jail is apparently a horrible place that they want to stay out of, and they're willing to do anything to keep out of it, even get themselves killed or hurt somebody else. So it's a mess. Yeah.
It is a mess.
Yeah.
My father's best friend was a cop, and he was actually I called him my uncle. He's my favorite uncle.
Nice.
And on his deathbed, he told me when he was a cop, even to the last days when he was a cop, he always had that fear of going up to someone, and no matter who they were, he was always had that thing in his mind. It's like, I don't know who this person is.
Right.
Are they going to try to stab me? Are they going to try to shoot me? He says that fear was real, and it was there every time he went out.
Yeah. Woo. Yeah,
Yeah.
Cops have more to fear from the public than the public has from the cops. The public kill cops far more per capita than the cops kill the public. Per capita, which, the population of police is not that big compared to the population of the country, but it's a mess. It's a big mess. Yeah, I mean, blacks kill cops over the course of a recent decade. Within like the year 2000s, maybe that decade. According to Heather McDonald, blacks were 40% of cop killers, despite being, 13% of the population. They represented 40% of those who had killed cops. And so they're not only more likely to get killed by cops, they're also far more likely to kill cops. So it's a mutual danger when you're an out of control person. So
Out of control.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. And how many videos have we watched on whether YouTube or BitChute, wherever, where somebody had their hands up and then all of a sudden cops had guns on them, and they suddenly reached down for a weapon and then tried to shoot the cop. How many times have we seen that over and over again? So that's why the people are unpredictable.
Yeah. The ones who act pathetic. I remember a white guy, I've told this story a number of times. A white guy was getting pulled over for driving under the influence or something, and he was acting all pathetic and crying. They were trying to drag him out of the car, two white male cops, and he's acting all pathetic. And then all of a sudden, he just, like, in perfect trained form, shoots both cops in the head. One of them dies, the other one is just severely injured. And then he drives off. And so people who act pathetic, like they don't want to hurt you, and, you know, those are dangerous people. Emotional people are dangerous, desperate, evil people, as JLP says. What a mess.
Yeah, it's good to hear that there is respect for that type of attitude, and hopefully more people that we talk to can understand those viewpoints. But
yeah.
Other than that, it's tough to see it when people just don't. They're stuck in this Black Lives Matter and things like that.
That's why I like Trump at the forefront, because he's a reasonable man who expresses himself without fear, just the way he sees things, and that cuts through a lot of the stuff. He doesn't express himself like a phony politician, and so a lot of blacks and others may hear him talk and be like, "Oh, you know what? He's right." You know, and they may realize that this cop versus blacks thing is not the victim narrative. The victim narrative isn't true. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
Great call, man.
Yeah, agree. Yeah, thanks, Hake. Good to talk to you.
Yeah, take care. Call me again, Johnny in Arizona.
Will do, sir.
All right, bye. Okay, we're approaching the top of the hour, everybody. I don't do my usual music breaks anymore. I sometimes do, but I'm gonna try to power through. Make sure you do catch Joel Friday TV. He is live Monday through Thursday at 11 a.m. Pacific time, 1 Central, 2 Eastern. Okay? Joel Friday here. Let me read a couple of super chats. Carver bought a coffee saying, "Hey, Hake, I don't think you're being too harsh on the cop defending himself from the boiling water lady." Indeed, I'm not. He says, "The real issue here is the bubble-wrapped mama spirit world. We've gotten so comfortable and so far away from the reality of life and death situations." Indeed, indeed. Back in the good old days, our ancestors could be walking down the road and get eaten by a saber-toothed tiger, or a mountain lion, or a dinosaur, if you're a young earther. Or pulled up on by a boat full of Vikings or Arab slave traders or Indians, and it was just over. Even today, driving on the highway with a bunch of drunks and potheads, or an urban neighborhood, you need to keep your head on a swivel. Thank you, Carver. He says, any interaction with the police is a life and death situation, and it is the individual's responsibility to treat it that way. Indeed. Stay present. If that dumb lady had been sitting calmly on the couch, she would be alive today. Indeed, Carver. Fair point. Sounds true. Instead, she decided to hoop and holler in front of the mountain lion, and she got ate like she was supposed to. Didn't she get the talk? I know they talk about she was 35 years old, I think. Gone too soon. At least partly her fault, you know? Each individual suffers their own mess. Thank you, Carver. Yeah, they talk about, they get the cup, they get the talk. Terry bought a coffee over here. Why do they have to turn my cat and I into some kind of political thing? A kitten showed up one day. I became this human, and it's been a blessing. My cat loves Donald Trump. He acts just like him. Oh, so your cat's a little Chad, huh? Or a big Chad. Cat's a big Chad. He's a fat cat. Based. The cat loves Israel and America and tells the truth and is loved by the ladies. That's right, Terry. Speaking of cat ladies, Terry brought this in, and I gotta get over here. Let's see. Childless cat ladies is the big story What's her name brought me to it. I'll cover this quickly, and then I'll get back to your calls, guys. In the world. There we go. It's not just cat ladies. Pardon this dumb ad. Don't say dumb, kids. Pardon this. Look at this. Look at this ugly website. Fix your... Advertisements are so intrusive. Okay, so... K-File reports, it's not just cat ladies. Oh, the Secret Service director is testifying in front of Congress. The acting one. But whatever, who cares about that? K-File, it's not just cat ladies. JD Vance, this is from CNN, has a history of disparaging people without kids. And he's criticizing a certain aspect of the cat ladies and the people who do not have kids, who are politicians and running the country into the ground. Get out of here with your ads, your fake patriotism. CNN, Commie Nonsense Network. This is an article by Andrew Kaczynski. See, look at this intrusive ad. Go away. And M. Steck. See if I can... In the world, whatever. Zoom out a little bit. Oh, is it wrong zoom? See, look at this. Useless. Anyway, JD Vance. Republican vice presidential nominee Senator JD Vance has a history of making disparaging remarks towards people without children. Not just any people without children. Sort of a deceptive statement, right? A CNN K-File review of his comments shows, including fundraising off his now infamous childless cat lady remarks. Hat tip to the childless cat ladies. I see you and I love you if I love anybody. I know some cat ladies who lost their cats. Very sad. Or cat. You know, like got run over by a car. But she handled it like a lady. Remarks on a series of emails that called Democrat leaders childless sociopaths who don't have a direct stake in this country. And that's sort of an ego take, but it is the way that oftentimes people are. All of a sudden, it becomes... Unless you're one of these responsible guys like Brian from North Carolina, who's already responsible anyways. He's a military man, and not all military men are responsible, but this guy was/is. He had a baby. I heard him on American Anchor Baby a couple weeks ago. He's like, I held my baby, and I didn't feel anything. Because he was already responsible. It's not like, oh, I better be responsible now. No, he was already responsible. But some people, it's like, well, it lights a fire under you if you're not already having that fire within to get stuff done. Be a man. Be a man. In November 2020, JD Vance said on a conservative podcast that childless Americans, especially those in the country's leadership class, and you've heard this remark before. You've heard this point made before. He maybe stole it from somebody else. It's not like it's a new point. Those in the country's leadership class more sociopathic than those with children and made the country less mentally stable. For example, that gal who ran Germany, Angela Merkel, no children. A little bit, middle-aged looking gal, mildly attractive, But not only was she don't say dumb, kids. Not only was she a dumb liberal, but she also had no children. That made her even more senseless. Vance added that the most deranged and most psychotic commentators on Twitter, now known as X, were typically childless. Interesting, huh? Don't fall into childless derangement syndrome, ladies and gentlemen. It's just all ego. I remember reading in the Bible, or reading my Arch books, the Christian children's books. Let me tell you this brief story before I continue. pardon my tangent, Lin Yen Chin. I'm breathing through my mouth. I read this story of the little boy Samuel, who was born to a woman who was maybe thought to be barren. Samuel's mother and father didn't have kids for a long time. I don't even know that the father even particularly cared. He was okay with it. But the mother was scorned and shamed by other women, according to this Arch book that I read. And I'm sure that the Arch book is based on the Bible. I don't remember reading it in the Bible, but I did read the whole Bible one time. But she couldn't have a baby. And then she cried in the temple. These are the Israelite times. The true Israelites, not the black ones. Shout out to the black Hebrew Israelites. I love you just like I love the flat earthers if I love anybody. She was crying, and Eli, the high priest of the Israelites, thought that she was a drunk. He's like, get out of here, woman. You're just drinking. She's all, oh no, I'm not drinking. I just wish I had a baby. And so Eli prayed with her to have and she had a baby, and it was Samuel. And then Samuel was dedicated to the temple, and he served Eli, and then Samuel became one of the high priests, or the high priest or whatever. I don't know. Something. Samuel, there's books named after Samuel. Samuel might have been the one, I don't know, he handled Saul, the first king of Israel, and David, the second king of Israel, I think. What a Chad. What a Chad. So, but I remember thinking as a kid, what's the big deal? You can't have kids or don't have kids. You're alive. The kids aren't your life. You're alive. Live, ladies. 4 chapters a day and you can read it in a year. That's nothing, Hake. Yeah, I know. I read the whole thing already. And I reread parts that interested me. This story of this lady who didn't get her kid until Eli prayed to God, I didn't relate to it. But I'm just saying, I remember as a kid, I didn't think much of not being able to have kids or not marrying in time to have kids. There's no reason for regret, ladies and gentlemen. Don't panic. You're alive. Live. What good is it to you? I mean, it's good to have children, I guess, right? I guess. Of course, definitely, we need white babies, but that doesn't mean that you go into a panic and get with some fellow psycho and be psychos together and then raise a psycho child. That's going to be HE double toothpicks. Hell. FYI, this is a side note. I had wisdom as a kid, maybe. Or maybe I didn't. Back to JD Vance. In August 2021, 1 month oh no, I don't want to read that one. He's talking about radical childless leaders in the country. Blah, blah, blah. There was last 3 paragraphs of this. Blah, 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 blah. I don't care about you, Commie Nonsense Network. You write too much. In a 2019 speech, Vance articulated his belief in the positive impact that children have on society. And I agree with him, and individual lives. Somewhat. I agree with him. He explained that many of his views on children and society stem from observing how becoming a father himself can transform young men. He knew from being driftless? I think it means drifting. To becoming rooted and grounded members of society. I care about declining fertility. Yeah, I do too. I mean, it's not good. It's not right. It's not right. It's a sabotage on the people. It's a brainwashing. Because I've seen the role of fatherhood, the positive role that it can play in the lives of many friends, and in my community, I've seen young men who were relatively driftless but become rooted and grounded when they had children. I've seen people who become more attached to their communities, to their families, to their country, because they have children, he says. That's what he added. And in my own life, I've felt the demons that come from a traumatic childhood, because his mother was a drug addict. And I don't know about his father, I don't know. melt away, the demons melt away in the laughter and love of my own son, he says. I don't know, man. I think that you're just replacing one negative feeling with fake positive feelings, and it's not going to last. That's sort of mama spirit, JD Vance, I think. But still. So I would say that we should care about declining fertility, not just because it's bad for our economy, but because we think babies are good, and we think babies are good because we're not sociopaths, he said. Right on, JD Vance. That doesn't sound like he's disparaging the people who were brainwashed into pouring their lives into worthless endeavors so that they didn't have children like the normal way that human beings normally went when they're not brainwashed in this mess. But they want to make it into some bad thing. I have some criticisms of it in that it's just a little shallow in understanding, but he's still right that it's better for society to be having the children, especially the educated people aren't having children, and that means mostly white people are not having children, but educated people in general, black, Hispanic, Asian, not having as many children. And they won't get with a man or a woman. You know, a woman won't get with a man, and a man won't get with a woman. He got with an Indian gal. I saw a contrast of this guy with his Indian wife. Indian. He met her in college. It's the millennials, they do it. They do that. They don't know better. And he has a couple of kids with her, and they look, half white, half Indian. And then it has, on the other side, it has Kamala Harris with this, drag queen, I guess. Garish. And it's like, who's the odd, weird one? Who's the creepy one? Evil Kamala Harris. I'd rather have this beta, and hey, he might not be that beta anymore, JD Vance wears eyeliner, says, spoiler alert. You think so? It doesn't look... It does. Maybe his eyes are just like that. It doesn't look right, though. I don't like it. But maybe that's just his eyes. That's just his face. What? Whatever. Anyway, that's my little point about that. Thank you, Terry, apparently she has cats. A shout out to the cat ladies. What a mess. He's a Robert Smith fanboy, says Radja Laser. All right, let me get back to some calls, guys. Over in Los Angeles, California, Mark in Los Angeles is on the line. What's up, Mark? How you doing, man?
Good. Happy White History Month.
Indeed. Happy White History Month.
Am I the first guy to say that today?
No. I think you're the third guy to say it, because I said it, I believe, and then I'm saying that defensively because you sounded like you're accusing me almost of not saying it. And then Daniel in Texas also mentioned White History Month. Actually, no, that you're the fourth because William had a White History hero.
Yeah, I appreciate William's kind words.
Nice.
I like him. He's more of a white man than that clown from Texas who you and him were bad-mouthing me last week. He's a better man than the guy in Texas. You know who I'm talking about.
I don't remember offhand, but okay.
CJ. Your buddy CJ.
Oh, yeah, my buddy CJ. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you were with him on every criticism he had of me.
Well, he did have some valid criticisms.
Have one.
Yeah,
I debated with him on Friday after your show with the Anchor Baby.
Oh, really? You debated CJ on Anchor Baby show?
Yeah, you listen to it.
Wow, I missed that. CJ, Anchor Baby's show got, I wasn't able to catch it on Saturday. Sometimes I catch it Saturday mornings driving down to the beach and back. But
Right.
his show got blocked because he got copyright block. What a mess.
Oh.
Okay,
Well,
well, but
anyway.
CJ agrees with you more about the white thing and the Christian values thing than you may realize. He's just saying that you say stuff that's that everybody already knows.
Oh, did he know about Theodore Bilbo? Did he know about Bose, the communist from the 20s? I don't think did he know any of the stories that I've told you about the Muslims and the Klan? He knows nothing. He's
right.
A malcontent. Do you know what a malcontent is? It's a person who nitpicks and tries to sow dissent in a group. And that's what his goal is, to down me and make himself some kind of a genius, which he's not.
Interesting.
But the thing that gets me about you, though...
You may be right about him on that. You may be right about him.
I'm 100% right, and he knows it. The thing is, you told me on Thursday not to talk about other callers.
Right.
And I respected that.
Thank you.
Then he calls the next day, lambasts me for at least 5 minutes, and you agreed with him. So are you a hypocrite, or is it just something that you got against me? I just have allow others to badmouth me, but when I go after them, I'm shut up. You tell me to shut up.
I just have loosey-goosey standards.
Well, that means no standards at all.
Fair enough.
Nothing personal, but
right.
That was a double standard, two-faced.
Right.
Okay. The thing I wanted to say, though, Hake, that isn't why I called, really.
Fair enough.
I wanted to talk about an incident, and I can't tell you where because the snippet that I saw did not say what city or state it was in. But somewhere in the United States over the weekend, 2 Negroes broke into a house in a white neighborhood. A white neighbor saw them break in, called police, and the cops, as usual, taking forever to show up. And the white man has a shotgun. He goes, "Look, if the cops aren't coming, I'm going over to confront these guys and make an arrest." And the guy on the dispatcher sounded like a liberal. "Oh no, don't go out. It's not worth hurting anybody. It's only property." That's the attitude of the liberal. Well, if it's only property, let the Negroes steal it. And if we do catch him, we'll let him go. But anyway, he didn't listen to the dispatcher, this brave, patriotic white man. He went over and confronted the 2 Negroes, shot one of them, and the other one ran away. I don't know if the police caught him, and I don't know what happened to the white man in question. But what my point is in this story is that when you are a white person seeing black crime in progress and you try to take action to stop it, the system will not be on your side. Even though he did the right thing, he took a chance. The dispatcher was basically saying to him, "Oh, just let him go. Just let him steal. The cops will get him. Don't worry." Bad attitude. I just thought that was ridiculous.
Yeah, that is interesting.
If I could segue in, I'm saying that for CJ's sake. I want to segue into another issue. The white women for Harris. Did you see that on anything over the last day or two?
No, I only saw one thing about Karens for Kamala or something like that.
Yeah, well, I saw a thing called White Women for Harris. They are the most pathetic, evil, fat, sloppy, soft cat women. And I'm assuming they're cat women because they're single, white, liberal women. The most disgusting demographic, maybe beside the black women demographic, but because white women outnumber them. They are the single most obnoxious category, and I hope certain people are listening to my words because they vote liberal, they hate white men, as you will hear if you listen to the White Women for Harris diatribe. And then they have a white dudes for Harris. Man, these guys are soft.
Yeah.
They don't look like they've eaten protein in 5 years, and they're just self-hating white men. And the funny thing is, Hake, she's got to segregate her supporters by race and gender. Isn't that kind of weird? Trump doesn't do that.
What do you mean
You
by
know,
that?
I mean,
She
they're all-
segregates her supporters? Because aren't there blacks
yeah,
for
but-
Trump? But Trump didn't do that.
Well, yeah, but they're a self-made group.
Right.
I mean, basically.
Yeah.
But this is an organized thing.
Oh,
White women-
organized by Kamala or, her campaign?
I don't know.
Okay.
I can't say.
Yeah.
I would guess that she had a hand in it.
Oh,
But she's segregating her own supporters.
huh.
And
Maybe.
What white? I'm sorry.
I said maybe. I mean, she definitely has that spirit of kissing up to the different diversity stuff.
Oh yeah, she's just evil. I mean,
Yeah.
she's basically a communist.
I didn't know that her
She's-
father was a socialist or Marxist economics professor.
He looks like W.E.B. Du Bois if you look at the father.
Oh,
He
really?
actually I'm not saying he is
No, yeah.
but
Right.
he looks like him. There was one other last point on your talk with Big Bump last week.
Yep.
He said that fascism is atheism, and I like Big Bump, and I'm not trying to pick a fight with him at all, but I haven't been able to find that. Fascism is not to the right of communism either. I think you said that. Fascism is on the right, but they are not racist. It's more of an economic doctrine, and I think your friend from Texas, CJ, actually was correct. He probably Googled it before he called your show. But his definition of fascism was pretty right on.
Right.
So the other point I wanted to make on that was in Spain under Francisco Franco
Uh-huh.
and in Italy under Benito Mussolini, fascism, were the governments of those two men, and the Catholic Church thrived. There was no suppression of religion under this fascist government. I don't know where Big Bump got that. But one thing CJ said that was interesting to me, and I didn't know it, Mussolini supposedly created Vatican City for the Pope and the Catholic Church.
Oh,
I
really?
don't know if that's true. I'm only taking his word for it, and anything he says I do take with a grain of salt.
Right.
But he might be right on this. So I would double-check that business about Mussolini being a fascist. I never heard that anywhere before.
Oh,
And
I
I've
thought
never-
that Mussolini was the original fascist.
Well, he was. I meant to say atheist.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know anywhere where Mussolini was ever a self-described atheist. I thought he was Catholic, just like Mussolini. Franco, rather. And on the Franco story, one thing you may not know, and when your friend CJ says I don't have anything innovative to bring to the show, I'll bring this to the show. And take notes, CJ. This is for you. In fascist Spain under Franco, there was a group called the Lincoln Brigade. They were Americans. They were mostly Jewish and Negro, and they were communists. And they went to Spain to try to overthrow Franco's fascist government, and they got their butts kicked.
Whoa.
And I'm glad. I don't care if they're American. If they're communist, I want them defeated.
Okay.
And it took, Hitler had to come in there and help out. But, the Lincoln Brigade, commies, we confronted them here in Southern California about 25, 30 years ago. They had a reunion or whatever, and we were calling them commies and traitors and everything right to their faces.
Yeah.
They're an evil bunch of people, man. And if you look at who the communists are, and you compare them to who the National Socialists and the fascists are, just look at the people themselves. Just look at who makes up these groups. You'll find slimy, soft, evil people on the left, and you'll see healthy, strong white men on the right. There are others. but
That's so
for the
common.
most part-
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So you can see the difference. And don't forget, Hitler came to power by the voters, not by a coup and not by a military takeover, unlike the Bolshevik Revolution.
Yeah.
And finally, I want to say to you for White History Month, since it's over after tomorrow, I would like to talk about Rear Admiral John Crommelin. I would nominate him for the White Man of the Year, even though he's been dead. White Man for this year's White History Month. Rear Admiral John Crommelin, true patriot. I don't know, to answer William, I don't really know that much about Nimitz. I've heard his name mentioned. I really can't comment on him. other than what I've read on Google, but he sounded like a good white man. And also, to answer William's other question, I believe that Officer Grayson was justified in his shooting of this Sonya Massey. I saw the video, and to me, it looks like Grayson was is being set up. I pray for him. I hope you do too. Put him in your prayers, because they're going to Derek Chauvin him. They're going to try to throw him in jail as a message to white police. The black criminal community wants the white police to know, leave us alone, or else you'll face the same fate as Chauvin and maybe Grayson.
Yeah.
Grayson, to me, should get a medal for what he did. That's my view on that.
All right, man. I appreciate your contributions and your input. As always, Mark in Los Angeles. Take care, man.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate you too, Hake. Have a good one.
All right. Bye. You know, he brought up Mark in Los Angeles on the line just now, brought up about Mussolini. Was he atheist or was he Catholic? According to Taylor and Francis online, whoever that is, right? This is a Google search. Totally useless website. So take all of this with a grain of salt. It is supposedly indeed well established that Mussolini is leader of the Socialist Party until his eviction from the PSI in November 1914 was not only a socialist, but an atheist into the bargain, whatever that is. But fascist Italy in 1870, the newly formed king of Italy annexed the remaining papal states, depriving the Pope of his temporal power. But in 1929 Lateran Treaty, Mussolini recognized the Pope as sovereign ruler of Vatican City states and Roman Catholicism, the state religion of fascist Italy. Ah, interesting. Clerical fascism. Clerical meaning clergy, I guess, right? Something like that. Anyway, that's a little update on that. And who was this Rear Admiral John G. Crommelin, American naval officer, 1902 to 1996. He was a Chad, I guess. What is this? Come on, I can't. I'm a boomer with this stuff. Hang on. Complicated business, folks. Prominent American naval officer, later a frequent political candidate who championed white supremacy. Thank you, Mark in Los Angeles. And that's, of course, according to Wikipedia and Google. I'm squinting my eyes in slightly incredulous. Thank you, sir. By the way, an update super chat from Popcorn's Thump Keg. Let me see. Come on. Let's see if I can find it. There it is. Lastly, from Popcorn's Thump Keg, banning somebody is kind of beta. I can see for a period, but permaban is mama spirit, as you would say, he says. Oh, really? You think so? No, but it doesn't mean you don't love them. You know what I mean? It's like an ex-girlfriend or an ex-boyfriend. It's not like you're supposed to get back together. You love them and you let them go. Same with, stalkers. You know, I had a stalker call into my show. I'm calling him a stalker. Maybe it's unfair, okay? But you love him or her or it or them, and you let them go forever. Forever. Hat tip to that dirty movie, The Sandlot. Because, and that's not from Base America First, but this is from Popcorn's Thump Cake, saying, questioning my perma-banning. And, yeah, they want to apologize. Oh, like Raymond 11, I banned him, and I'm kind of joking when I say, he should donate $100 to everybody, each of the hosts. But I don't know him ever to have supported Bond, or JLP, or Hake, or Anchor Baby, or Joel Friday. He's just in the chat being funny and rubbing elbows with you guys, and some of you guys like him. I like him. But he's out of control. So he's banned, and he's been repeatedly just abusing his privilege as a well-liked member of the snake pit. Now banned from the snake pit. You know, like, and I don't know if it's going to be permanent. Maybe he apologizes. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe his version of apology is, hey, I forget what he was calling me. But he was getting vulgar and nasty. So it kind of, when you do something like that, they kind of prove you right. So I don't think that banning is necessarily mama spirit. It can be out of a beta mama spirit, of course. But there's also a protecting yourself, and also it's better for them. What, you're feeding their ego. They're getting a false life out of interacting with you, you know? Hating you and thrills. That's not good. Have your life revolve around hating Hake or being nasty in the chat. The snake pit's a waste of time. Shout out to the snake pit, though. Not all of it. Just most of it. Spoiler alert, found that 11-second little clip, Sandlot forever. Cool. Even Spoiler alert has found it sometimes a waste of time. And he's like my best mod. Anyway, that's my best feedback for you. I shall consider your suggestion if you were giving me a suggestion, and I will put it in my suggestion box. Thank you, as always, Popcorn Thumpcake. He's just an interesting person, and I think he's or she or it is black. So shout out to the blacks. We love the blacks, if we love anybody. Let's see if what does Control R do? Does it refresh? Yes, it refreshes. And we're all caught up still, I think. Nice, huh? Let's get back to calls. BLAQROSE from Alabama on the line here. BLAQROSE, thank you for calling and holding. How are you doing?
How are you, Hake? How are you? Thank you for taking my call.
Definitely, I'm fine.
See, what JD Vance are trying to tell y'all, is to stop killing the white babies for White History Month and leave the cats alone. That's what he was trying to tell y'all.
Yeah, because every time you do the big M, you're killing kittens.
Yeah, so you can't do that. Y'all got to stop messing with the cats and make more white babies. That's what he was trying to tell y'all.
Do me a favor, BLAQROSE. I think you have the show in the background. If you can mute that show, the volume on that.
Okay, gotcha.
Thank you. Good to hear from you, though, and nice message. Definitely, I'm with you. I'm not dismissing his point. It's good to make children. I'm for us becoming mature, younger again, because a lot of us are maturing at an old age after it's already too late to have a normal life the way that God said it to be, Mother Nature and nature's God. But hey.
Yeah, so you need more white babies, though.
Yeah. Indeed.
And for the record, too, a lot of blacks here in America, the blacks, we don't identify as African. I promise you that.
Nice.
We know we're not African.
I know.
And we also know that we did not come from Africa. We were already here. We are the indigenous people of this United States of America. So don't get that twisted.
Oh, I'm getting that twisted.
Stuff. It shouldn't be, though, because if you claim your history, since y'all celebrate White History Month and they have a Black History Month, then you should know these things for real. And I think y'all should celebrate White History Month every single day. Do it every day. I think it'd be a great idea.
Nice.
Don't you?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So what you think about the white man that set the northern part of California on fire? You think he was mad with his mama?
Could be. Definitely could be. You agree with JLP about the mamas?
Not really, because he wants you to hate your mother when
No.
a lot of mothers, yes, he does.
No.
Every time I
No,
call
he wants you to overcome
why,
hating.
I didn't.
He wants you to
This is the
overcome
point,
hating. Go ahead.
I didn't call to talk about Jesse Lee.
I know, but you brought it up.
I want to talk about that boiling water.
Oh,
with
okay.
Massey.
So you want to move on from that. So
Yeah,
you were just making a side comment. Okay. I accept. Go ahead.
Because
Boiling water.
That's Jesse Lee, whatever. But anyway, he need to
Whatever
bury
yourself.
the hatchet with his mama. Yeah.
He loves his mother.
Anyway, he need to bury that hatchet. Whatever it is.
He forgave her.
He need to bury that. Nuh-uh. He need to bury it.
Oh,
with
you don't.
her.
Oh, I thought you didn't want to talk about Jesse. You can't help yourself.
Yeah, whatever. That's what I'm saying. Bury that. But anyway.
Yeah.
Now the shooting and boiling water, that was a ritual. That was a ritual for Kamala Harris and the Democratic Party. Just like that put together shooting was a ritual for the Republicans because what the media is doing is basically want us in fear. They want everybody in fear. Long as we're in fear, then they have control. Now that's what do you think about that? I truly now I've been burned before for real.
Oh,
when I
with
was
water?
about 18. Yes, I was. I loaned my brother my car, and he brought my car back running hot. And I'm kidding not, I'm 50 years old now, so this happened years and years ago.
Yeah.
And
Doxed.
the whole right side of my face, my breast, and my back was severely burned. Let me tell you how it worked, though, when you're burned real bad. And by me being a dark-skinned girl back then, and I'm still dark-skinned, ain't gonna never go nowhere, and I love it. But I had a friend, and what he did was scrape all that dead skin off, and
Whoa.
it was just, my skin was just white. It was just white from the side of my right face, my right breast, and part of my back, right side of my back, upper part. After he scraped all that skin off, I was in college back then, too. I was going to Alabama State. I would never forget it. I had to drop out. And when that man put that aloe vera on me, and then he started putting some cocoa butter on me as well, my skin grew back like a baby.
Whoa.
And it looks good up until this day. So I can understand that part about that boiling water, and it's not the way you was looking Friday, like you started smiling. I even time-stamped the smiles that you was doing. I did. And then I don't even know why Lil Bumpy was on the show.
Big Bump.
Talking about whatever. Lil Bumpy talking about some Dahomey tribe. Is they in California?
No, they is
because
in
I think
Africa.
He was your bodyguard that day.
Dahomey Kingdom is in Africa.
I'm thinking they'll move to California somewhere. He representing for them or something because he sounded like a fool sitting up there. And you was correct. You didn't even, I don't know what that was. Y'all gaslighted us so bad that day.
That's funny.
Moonlighted, gaslighted. It was terrible. And then I think he was your bodyguard. He was your bodyguard because I think you be talking too much mess and people don't like that. You brought him on that show to prove a point to somebody. Whoever that guy is, you probably blocked. I don't know. I talk a lot, my bad.
You definitely do.
I do. I can let you get in, my bad. What you want to ask me?
Well, you mentioned this shooting thing as being a ritual for the Republicans.
That put together shooting for Donald Trump, which I do like Donald Trump.
You're talking about the shooting of Trump being a ritual for.
That was a ritual for the Republicans.
Oh, okay. And the shooting, the boiling water shooting was a ritual for the Democrats. You're saying?
Yes. And have you noticed? I want you to pay attention. Every time election time come around, it's a shooting with police and a black person. And for you too, this for you. I think when you say the blacks, it's in your algorithm for you.
Oh.
That hits your algorithms when you say black.
Right.
You say the black. Who
in my
mind,
the algorithm in my mind, you mean?
No, the algorithms on dealing with social media.
Oh, okay.
You know, it's social media. YouTube, it's getting hard out there for y'all.
Indeed.
You know what I mean? So anyway, y'all, you keep saying the blacks. Who are the blacks? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
You know, the various blacks. John in Kentucky a little bit. Joe from Phoenix sometimes. Maybe you a little bit. I'm not sure.
No, what? I'm going to say this right here.
Okay.
I like the guy Mark. I think his name Mark that just hung up.
Yeah.
I like being called Negro.
Nice.
So
isn't it nice and old school? It kind of.
I love it.
Yeah.
Call me Negro all you want to, but I'm not black, and I know you're not white.
Right.
I know y'all see what that is. Nobody wins to race and racism. First of all, you're not gonna win. So
Right.
you can forget that. People do this color thing to make other people feel superior. That's where it comes from. So, and for your homeboy, Uncle Tom do not mean a snitch. Uncle Tom actually means the people who did not tell. The people who kept
Yeah,
their
he was
mouth
a good
closed.
guy. I read that.
He was
I
a
remember
good guy
reading that
for-
book.
Yeah, now so
Uncle Tom's
it's not
Cabin.
That you run and go tell. It's not that you run and go tell the Caucasian man. That wasn't it. It's that you wouldn't tell it. That's when you became So everything has been switched around. And I wish I could talk to Jesse Lee Peterson because I know a lot of little things about where he's from, and I know he know where the being at. So yeah, the being down in Wall.
Okay.
So anyway, I know he got to know where it at. It's a lot. He need to stop playing games. But anyway.
Well, it's because he doesn't really have time to play as much.
Why y'all moon and
Because
gaslight so much?
He's busy helping people and talk about real things. I talk about nonsense. And so I like nonsense.
Both of y'all. Now, I ain't going to say y'all do. I didn't
Nice.
say that. You put a timestamp on that. You said that.
Right.
But that I'm trying to figure out his church.
Nice. You catch church with JLP?
I watched it Sunday. It threw me off, and I had almost burnt up my collard greens.
Whoa.
And one thing I could say about Jesse, he stopped me from smoking weed. So
Nice.
I can, I'm a sinner from smoking weed, so he stopped me from that. So I need to
Good for you.
pick up delivery from that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So you look like you've never been burnt, or can you tell that you've been burnt when you look at your own face?
When I look at it, looks like it never happened.
Nice.
I promise you.
Right on.
Looks like it. They say black don't crack, and that is the truth. I tell you, you cannot tell. You cannot tell at
Right
all.
on.
And I was just mad. I was like, oh my God, this is. So anyway, the police. I heard a lot of negative things about him, though. I heard he had all these DUIs.
So did I, yeah.
Police.
We'll see what happens.
This is crazy, though. Now, you know that's crazy.
It is. I don't agree that it was like a ritual, but what they're doing now is a ritual. I don't think that these things were.
And believe me, I cannot stand to whatever her name.
Kamala?
I can't stand her. Now she back to being black. What color do she want to be? Because her neck, something looked like it be coming out the side of her neck like some kind of creature. I can't stand her. I really can't. I hope I don't get you in trouble. But she just irks me, and when I see her, I like Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to tell you one thing. I stopped voting. I know why I stopped.
Good for you.
I was a foot walker. You can say good for me all you want to because they harass black people about voting. But they never get out and harass the Chinese, the Japanese, all these other nations over there. They don't harass them, but they harass us. But let me tell you something. I stopped voting because that old thing, Obama. That's why I stopped voting.
Yeah.
His first time, I'm talking about in Montgomery, Alabama, I was doing volunteer work. I had posters, stickers. I was working at the Montgomery Advertiser and the newspaper. Trust and believe, that's where I get this talking from. But anyway, I just swore he was like God sent. He get up in that office and he lit that doggone state. He lit up the White House. I said,
you're talking about the rainbow LGBT colors on the White House?
That's the only thing he was able to doggone get paid. I ain't cuss. I did not cuss. I said got doggone. Thing, I said, you know what? Because of this right here, I don't waste all my time, all my little change, all my little money, getting people to go vote, telling people to do this, This is what he do for us. Because everybody ain't gay. I mean, I'm not a lesbian. I'm not. And I disagree because God made man for woman and woman for man.
Yeah.
I don't know how evil they can get. Maybe I was evil. Maybe that's why I'm single. But I know one thing: I don't play. I don't play. So
Nice.
That's probably why I just have a little puppy named Miss Kitty, and we keep it moving. But that Obama, and then it's coming. I don't even know. Is Michelle coming on the scene? When is she coming on the scene? She's been quiet.
Interesting. I don't know what's going to happen with Michelle Obama or Barack or what. I want to show you guys this. Look at this. Look at this disgraceful thing. Am I showing it to you guys?
Somebody said, how did they end?
I'm just showing them
the.
the. Look at this rainbow thing. Rainbow White House. Terrible. Look. Oh, and they did a whole time lapse about it. Look, rainbow colors. This was Obama White House.
Yes, Terry. I said I'm not a lesbian. I'm not. Are you?
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
I'm sorry.
She's fighting with people in the chat. Time lapse of the White House. June 26th, 2015. Obama administration did this. After the so-called Supreme Court did that disgraceful thing. Terrible. Look, beautiful White House before, and then it turns dark at night and rainbow. Not God's rainbow.
Look at that.
Yeah, so that was, this was a red pill moment for BLAQROSE. BLAQROSE.
Look at that, look. That was for Michael and Obama. That was for both of them, Michael.
No, it's Michelle. I disavow this.
Yeah. We know what time it is. So look, all the blacks, I'm going to say the blacks,
yeah,
like y'all love to say the blacks,
yeah,
all of us ain't with all this hot mess that's going on. And all of us are not Democrats. Matter of fact, I'm not a voter, but I'm trying to get my people who are going out there to vote for what's right and pay attention. Do not vote for them because of their complexion.
Right.
Don't do that. It's not a protection, baby. You're messing up.
Right.
So I'm just saying, because we love it. And let me say this too before I hang up. I'm sorry, y'all. I know you. I know you.
Yeah, I got to run pretty soon. Make real quick. Last point.
Okay. Black people were not voting Democrat until after this JFK thing went down. We were Republicans. And I'm going to say this too, the civil rights movement, I wasn't living back in them days, but I would have pushed back. I would have been one of those people pushing back. And I think that was a setup. I don't think it all was real. I think these people were put in certain places at certain times to be on TV. Thank you for taking my call, Hake.
Thank you.
I appreciate you. And matter of fact, I'm going to buy you a cup of coffee when I hang up.
Sounds good. Thank you.
I know I talk too much. Bye.
All right, take care. BLAQROSE, BLAQROSE. She's there in the chat. What a lovely lady. A little kooky, but aren't we all? Not to downplay it. Let me double check for any remaining super chats. Hopefully I get through. Carver, thank you for your coffee. Let me double check. Lin Yen Chin says, hey, somehow I was hidden from your chat. Is this the result of your choice? Or that of your mods, or that of YouTube itself? Well, it doesn't matter. I won't insist on going where I am not wanted. No need to waste more money here. Have a great life? ? Thank you, Lin Yen Chin. I appreciate it. Yeah, they let me know what happened. I wasn't watching the chat closely, but you were posting stuff about R-word, ape Ray, and it was a little too explicit for the taste of some of my mods. We like to keep it clean, G-rated. And I don't know, though, if you were properly warned or not. You do seem confused even in this chat. I know who it was, and somebody let me know what went down. So I think we will let you back on, maybe. But I do know that it was valid timeouts, but maybe you weren't notified very clearly that what you were doing was putting you on thin ice, Lin Yen Chin. Sometimes you say stuff that's too vulgar for Hake's taste and other people's taste. Somebody says in the chat, PDF stuff, not flying with me. Oh, yeah, not good. So Lin Yen Chin, we'll give you a second chance, but yeah, you're too graphic. In your vernacular. Watch your language. But thank you for your super chat. If you do come back, you are welcome. If you don't come back, like if you decide not to participate in the chat, that's okay. Nice. Yeah, but don't put my channel at risk, people. Don't put my channel. If you get timed out repeatedly, you're in danger of being banned. Says spoiler alert. And a lot of people get timed out repeatedly and they never get banned. But just know that there's something that you're doing. And I get that sometimes the mods get beta. I get it. Forgive the beta mods. We are fallen state as well. But you are the plebs. Know your role. I got to end, guys. This has been the Hake Report. I cannot get to you. Derek in Nashville, Tennessee wanted to say thank you, Hake, and he wanted to talk about the 2024 Olympics. Rika, I wanted to get to you, man. Frederick wanted to talk about the Sonya Massey shooting. I can't do it. Let's play some music. I have less than the amount of time that I normally like to have, so let's do this. Let's see here. Hang on. Complicated business, folks. Let me turn down the volume on this thing. Do you have it unmuted there for me, Nick? Nick is helping me out. There we go. I'll pull this down. I'll manually do this thing. And here we go, guys. Peace in the Middle East, or at least in your hearts.
I've been reading what they say in the news, hoping that I hear back from you. I wrote you this letter of explanation. Look at things from my point of view. It's a matter of supply and demand. Field research and capital gains. Success is just a matter of sex and money. I've got the looks, they've got the brains.
It's Vroom. You Are Okay from Rosebud.
It's a necessary part of the job.
It may be just a little involved.
But most of our dealings were strictly business. I just wanted to know if you're okay and it's alright. You're okay and it's alright. You're okay, it's alright. You're okay, it's alright. Everybody's talking about who's with who and who's making out. Wouldn't we be better off making music instead of all the sleeping around?
The singer is irritating.
Dirty business. We put our heads together. The songs will live forever. I've gotta get out of this hellhole. I'm packing my bags and I'm coming home. You're okay and it's alright. You're okay and it's alright. You're okay and it's alright. You're okay, it's alright. You're okay, it's alright. With my entire life.
This is terrible, Hake. As usual, or worse. I'll read the rest of your super chats tomorrow, I guess, if I see any.
It's alright with me.
It's Vroom. It's Christian.
It's alright.
You sing worse than the guy in the recording, unbelievably. I know, I was off key. Adios, America. Jewel Friday. Coming up next. Bye.